Hi, welcome to STEM Builders JM. If you're joining us for the first time, please remember to like and subscribe to our channel. We'll be doing videos for Kate biology students as well as CSEC. So also remember to recommend to your friends and share. Today I'll be looking at some test taking tips and tricks. In our last video session, I looked at some ingredients for examination success. And so this is a part 2 of that particular session. Right, so as mentioned before, I looked at achieving excellent grades in the Kate biology exam, and that was part 1. And today I'm looking at test taking tips and tricks. Let's begin. So some test taking 101. Right? One of the number one reasons students fail their exam is due to poor test-taking skills. This is undeniable. And so in order to do better in exams, you need to improve your test-taking skills. How do you do that? Let's find out. Before the test, you need to apply the 3 Ps. And for me, that is prepare, practice, and pray. Prayer is extremely important. So prepare, and not just the night before the exam. You start your preparation early and you practice, not just examination papers, and pray and be specific when you pray. So for preparation, avoid cramming, study and ensure you understand the material. At this level, the questions assess a number of skills. So you're looking at use of knowledge, knowledge comprehension, and your experimental skills for both the paper 1 and 2. So I know for this year, a lot of you might be worrying only about the paper 1. I'm sure you have completed your labs by now. But remember that for paper 1, it is the same mark for paper 2, the same number of marks, it's weighted the same way. And so it's very important that you do very well at paper 1. Rewrite notes. So this is a way to prepare as well, is to make small notes and highlighting the main points and creating a summary, sort of in your own words. And I'm going to tell you, I've taken a lot of exams, both at the undergraduate and graduate level, and this works all the time. So rewriting my notes, it sort of helps it to go to my long-term memory, and also highlighting the main points and sort of pull out the different ideas and the concepts. That helps it to also be organized in your consciousness. So it's very important that you do this part in order to prepare. I know for some people it might seem very time consuming, but trust me, it's worth it. Practice. A trick for this is to anticipate what questions may be on the exam. I know you may not have a crystal ball to do that, but you can review the specific objectives on your syllabus. That's a very good place to start. So if you're looking at your syllabus, which is free and available on the 60 website to be, you can download it. You can review the specific objectives for your units. If you're doing unit 1, you look at specific objectives for unit 1. And that pretty much gives you an idea of what the examiner will ask and what may come on the exam. What I do for my students, I definitely write the notes to each specific objective. So when I look at the textbook and you have all these notes, I ensure that whatever I'm giving my students won't just be everything from the textbook, but definitely things that are definitely answering the specific objectives. Another tip that I've used also in the past is to write the specific objective as a question. And then once I'm able to answer that question, I know that I would have covered it. Also review past paper questions. I'm sure you're already doing this, and that's also a good second step. And finally, ensure that you review the questions and the diagrams in your recommended text. A lot of times I see the same diagrams in the recommended textbook on the exam. And so sometimes students sort of just, they don't pay as much attention to the diagrams that are there, but they're there for a reason. So ensure that you use the diagrams in your recommended textbook to study and ensure that you remember them as well. How to label them, draw them, whatever it is. And also the questions at the end of the book that can also help you. And I always say, can't leave out prayer. So when you pray, that helps to calm your nerves. And when you pray, be specific. This is a prayer I always use. I ask for strength so I won't give up. And I ask for guidance so I can interpret and answer the questions correctly. I also ask to remember everything I've read and studied. So just ask to bring back to remembrance everything that I've done. And this also helps to train and program your brain for success. So right away, you have pretty much set up your stage for success to do well in your exam by practicing these 3 Ps. Now, in the exam, you definitely need to read the instructions and the questions carefully. Interpret the questions accurately. Spend time practicing how to interpret questions before the exam. So ensure that your responses are clear, concise, and to the point. Take special note of the cues given in the question. So a question may say 2 or 3 or not true. Ensure, especially for the multiple choice questions, that you underline that as soon as you get it, because right away when you see a question that says not true, you're still looking at the responses or the options, and you have to keep at the back of your mind that it's the option that is not true that you want to select. So to just keep that in focus, underline it, circle it, just ensure that you highlight it. Test taking do's. Use the time allotted for the paper wisely. Read through the paper and plan and outline your response before starting to write. And this is true for the essay questions. Write in complete sentences for essay questions and state the question in the first paragraph. But for short answer questions, do not repeat or restate the question. So in the essay questions, ensure that you keep focus of the question, that you do your outline and your plan. Do not start to write and then you've decided that, what have I done? And you need to start all over. That wastes valuable time. So to eliminate that, plan and outline your responses. When a question asks for 2 items, give 2 items, not 1. So don't lose marks unnecessarily through apparent carelessness, right? And look for cues in the question as well. If they say, if there's a plural, especially for the multiple choice, and so you may need to choose more than 1 option, ensure that the entire option that you choose is correct and not just partly correct. When answering MCQs, when in doubt, guess. A person say that, or they say choose C. That's incorrect, by the way. So please don't do that. So when in doubt, guess, but do not guess randomly and do not choose C. Instead, guess aggressively. That is, eliminate the choices you know are wrong. So in many cases, you can look at it and there are 2 detractors there that are completely out. So get rid of those 2 and then focus now on your answers on the 2 that are similar, right? So this will give you a 50% chance of being correct. But this tip you only use when you're in doubt. But you can still eliminate whenever you're answering any question, but you don't guess aggressively or any at all unless you're in doubt. Always use examples, details, evidence, and facts to support your points when answering essay questions. Make every attempt to use the information given in the various parts of a question to help focus the context and content of your responses. Always link your responses to the data shown in graphs and tables. Examiners definitely cite that poor performance on these questions is usually due to failure to link response to the graph. So the graph is there. Ensure that whenever you're answering an essay or short answer question, that you are linking it to the information that is provided. Spelling of biological terms must be correct. It is not possible to award marks for incorrectly spelled terms, especially where they actually mean something else. So for example, urethra and urethra, glucagon and glycogen, arteriosclerosis and atherosclerosis. They mean different things, but they are often confused when it comes to the spelling. Avoid superficial and simplistic statements. Don't say chloroplast photosynthesis because you think, okay, that's a function. This is too simple and not at this level, right? or mitochondria powerhouse. That's more for grade 7 or 8, lower school. Use appropriate biological terminology for your responses. Example, enzymes are denatured, not killed. So remember that enzymes are proteins, they are not actual organisms. So they are denatured at high temperatures and inactivated at low temperatures. Review your examination paper before you submit it. So whether you're doing paper 1 or paper 2, ensure that you go through and you're satisfied with your responses before you submit. Test taking don'ts. For short answer questions, do not repeat the questions asked. You're wasting time and using up valuable space. Do not write in the margins. Leave that for the examiners. Don't waste time providing information that is irrelevant to the question, because this gives you no marks. Don't think, oh, I'm going to write everything that I know. It's not going to work. Don't write all you know about a topic. I think I've said that before. And of course, I want to leave you with this tip: never give up, never celebrate too early. Check your responses and ensure that you have satisfactorily completed all the questions. Never give up. So keep calm and pass your Kate Biology exam with STEM Builders Learning Hub. Thank you. Bye and see you. Remember to like and subscribe. And for my next video, I'll be going through some past paper multiple choice questions. Remember to comment or like, and so we can discuss. If you have an area that you are having some difficulty with, please feel free to send in your comments. And you can also email me at stemd@gmail.com. Thank you.